Rob goes to the nearest town and meets with the mayor. If this is as big as you say it is, it's far beyond my scope, the mayor says, but you could help me get to the higher authorities. Unfortunately, I don't have a lot of contacts up there. Can you at least warn the people around here? I have an election coming up. I can't afford to look like a fool. You are a fool for not listening to me. Back at his cabin, Rob views a chart showing solar cycles during the past 1,000 years. The trend line shows an upward direction. He superimposes other climate cycles and sees that several are peaking now. The next day, Rob rides his gravity high above the top of the glacier. He holds a position he used in the past and takes a picture of the lake. When the new picture comes up on the screen, he superimposes it over a picture from a month ago. The lake is larger. Rob goes to the regional capital and tries to meet the governor. He gets a meeting with the chief of staff. If I'm going to take this to the governor, I'm going to need more evidence than a few aerial photographs. I've shown you an entire stack of scientific studies. The governor doesn't have time to wade through all that, and neither do I. Have you talked to the climate officer? We don't have time to work through layers of bureaucracy. What's happening now is that it's time for my next appointment. Good day. Don't bother me again unless you have some support for this. But, I said good day, sir. Now leave or I'll call security. There doesn't seem to be any limit to official stupidity. Back home, Rob sits at the computer, cruising alternative news sites, and finds a prepper video. He watches for a while. You can call me a conspiracy theorist, the speaker says, but conspiracies exist. That's why we have the word. And the biggest conspiracy we have today has to do with the end of the Ice Age. We all think that just because the glacier has been here all of our lives, it will be here forever. Nothing could be farther from the truth. Ask anyone who studies climate, and he will tell you that the ice has come and gone many times in the past, and it's about to go again. The speaker waves a document in front of the camera. I have here a government report that proves this beyond a doubt. You haven't heard this because the official sources don't talk about it, but they know, and they are preparing. I've put a link to it in the description. Rob clicks the link, then he sends it to Celia. It's good to know someone else is tuned into this. The next evening, Rob hangs out at Celia's trailer. He sits in a chair, reading. Celia is at her computer. Come look at this, she says. What? I found this neat animation. Rob gets up and walks over to Celia. There's an image of what is now North America on the screen. Watch! Celia clicks her mouse. On the screen, the glaciers disappear, and the sea rises to cover the coast. How much rise is that? Rob asks. 400 feet. How long does it take? Depends on how much heat you apply. Rob calls into a local talk show. And who am I speaking with tonight? The host asks. Rob Mooney. And what do you want to talk about tonight? Something you probably haven't heard about. Surprise me. I've heard just about everything. The glacier is going to melt. They melt every day. Not like this. And pray tell, how do you know this? It started with a dream. All dreamers are fools. Next call. He didn't let me explain. What an ass. Rob concludes his testimony before a Senate committee. I know that this is all hard to believe, but I ask you to look at the facts, past and present. A large lake has formed on top of the glacier, and it could break out at any moment. That would put an end to the world as we know it. Thank you. And now, the chairman says, we'll have the final statement from the science advisor. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This witness has paraded a lot of things in front of us he considers to be evidence. Although some of it is factual, most of it is purely speculative and is not the basis for a sound decision. We can't tear up our entire society just because of what one man says. Terry and Celia drink coffee while they watch the Senate hearing. That's absolute bullshit, Celia says. They know we're right. Their stupid egos are just keeping them from admitting it. They always want to avoid stampeding the herd, even if it gets a bunch of people killed. Rob starts making videos about his ideas and gathers many subscribers. One day he gets a visit from a man wearing unmarked black fatigues. I have a message for you, the man says. What might that be? Rob asks. You need to stop riling people up. I didn't realize that I was. It seems more like no one is paying attention. People are, and some of them are people you don't want to mess with. Who might that be? You don't need to know who, just that they are watching you and they aren't happy with you. They think you might be a terrorist. Hardly. Let's just say that the definition of a terrorist is flexible. What do they want? They want you to shut it. You and your band of lunatics can do whatever you want as long as you don't make trouble. Trouble? You have no idea what trouble is coming. Is that a threat? No, but there is a threat, and you don't look like you're prepared for it. How do you know, asshole? Anyway, I'm just here to make sure you get the message. Rob stands up. Are we done here? Yes, we are. Don't bother to put up any videos. We've blocked your accounts. That evening, Rob and Celia make dinner. I just don't know what else I can do, Rob says. About what? Getting people to pay attention. Maybe you can't. You've seen the water. And you've put out videos on that. Quite a few people watch them. Not nearly enough. Remember what it says in the book. What? A remnant shall be saved. You like that idea? Not at all, but it may get down to that. Save what we can? Who we can? That would be a big job all by itself. Rob and Celia collapse into bed after a long, hard day. Rob? What, honey? I missed my period. I've missed too. Rob perks up.